Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing first aid and first aid kits. Alright, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to discuss first aid kits. Now I got a couple examples out in front of you here, and some of them are bone stock, bought them at the store, brought them home, put them away, okay? I do check through them from time to time for expiration dates and such. And some of these kits have been modified slightly by myself for things that I might use or anything else that, like I like Aleve, I don't like Advil, so I put Aleve in. Stuff like that. Anyway, these are some basic off-the-shelf first aid kits. I'm going to show you the contents really quickly because I want to delve into something else. There's nothing wrong with going out and buying yourself a basic first aid kit. If you are just starting out in prepping, and really that's what my videos are kind of for, is for somebody who's just getting interested in survival and prepping, going out and getting yourself a brand new first aid kit isn't bad. But where people fail is they fail to go through it. They fail to put in things that they might need, Do you take medication of any kind? Put a few pills in there. This may be something that you're grabbing, and running out the door with. And these kits here, these first two kits, are kits that I use with amateur radio emergency services when I'm doing an event, because I am not a certified EMT or a doctor or a nurse or anything like that. This is just basic first aid. Somebody falls and scrapes their knee really bad. Well, I can give them a Band-Aid, I can give them a cleaning wipe, something like that. I can give them a cold compress. I don't want to take on liability, and I don't want to go into areas where I'm not certified in. So something like that, or if I cut myself, I can take care of a cut without having to call net control and drive to a first aid station. I'm fine. This last one on the end, I picked up in Walmart about a year ago, and it's just a very basic kit. It's something you might see in a workplace, but these kits I've kind of modified. So I'm going to tear into them real quick. Just pop open. We're not going to go through piece by piece, but you can see how they're organized. And I got a pair of work gloves in here. I don't know why I have a pair of work gloves in here. I forgot. I think I was using this in an event that I was actually using the gloves. But anyway, I've put a couple extra alcohol pads in here. I've put some, let's get to the last thing here. Put my wife's headache medication, some antacid pills for me, and a couple of aspirins. But it's a very basic first aid kit. And I've had this for years. I've rotated out most of this stuff, gosh, except for the Band-Aids, a bunch of times. So you got an idea. And with something like this, if you're just getting started out and preparing, you are, light years ahead of most people that have absolutely nothing in their house. Okay, that's the first one. Here's the second kit. And don't worry, we're actually going to go somewhere with this. Okay, this is the second kit. Now this kit can be set up like this, and you can kind of have your own little miniature first aid station almost. And I've added a cold compress and a hot and cold compress there. The nice part about this is it's got sections with instructions. And this is, I got this at Sam's Club. For those of you who don't know, Sam's Club's kind of like a Costco, but it's owned by Walmart. And I got this about 6 months ago, and it's got all the different basic stuff. And this is pretty basic. I really haven't modified this much. I did put in a few extra things in front here, the cold compress, the burn gel, a couple of moleskins, but pretty much just basic. All right, moving on. This is a really basic kit. Now, if this is, let's say you're just getting started out, you're on a very limited budget, okay? You want to store some extra food, you want to store some extra water, and this is all you can afford. Again, you are miles ahead of the average person. This peels off here, and it will give you instructions from the American College of Emergency Physicians on how to take care of pretty much anything basic with this kit. I've added nothing to this kit. I will toss it in the car when we're going to Vegas overnight, because we're about an hour from Vegas. Or if we're going to California to visit family or something, I may take the bigger blue kit. But those are good alternatives. They're good starts. what I want to do is I want to dig out my big kit and show you what that's about. Because it's probably the best kit that I myself have for me, because I built it from scratch. Okay, here we go. Let's get that in the light. Yeah, it's a huge toolbox. This is a first aid kit I've worked on for years. And it's got everything in it that the basic first aid kits have, plus a lot more advanced stuff like, say, sutures, saline, stuff like that. It's also got light sticks on top because, let's face it, when do accidents happen? At night. If I had to take care of somebody out in front of my house that was in a bad traffic accident, and there was no one around, if I take care of my wife, if she really had a bad laceration or some kind of injury, this is what I'd go for. I also have some things in here that I don't know how to use. Like, unless it's life or death, am I going to pull out a scalpel and cut somebody open? Absolutely not. But do I have a scalpel in there? Yeah, because someone in my immediate area might be a physician, might be a PA, might be a doctor, a nurse, whatever, might be able to use it. Okay? And it also kind of ties in with the barter thing, you know, where if somebody needs medical supplies and you have them. Now, suturing, I know how to sew. You know, I wouldn't dig out a suture and stitch anybody up unless it was a life or death emergency. But I do have sutures in here. Now, this is very full, and I just inventoried it and went through and got rid of some stuff that was out of date. So you see how it works. It's got a first layer in here. Okay, it's got all the basics. You know, stuff that I grab right away, instant stop bleeding, some, believe it or not, crazy glue. This is actually liquid skin. This is actually made, let me get that in the camera. This is made for sealing up wounds. Band-aids, stuff like that. What was, oh yeah. Motrin, Aleve, stool softener, glucose tablets in case somebody's a diabetic. You know, I do have friends that are diabetics, and one of them scared the living heck out of me one time when they decided not to pay attention to their sugar levels and just start acting all wonky on me. So we had them have some orange juice, but that's what that's for, you know. Inside here, it's broken down into sections. All right, I'm back. We're going to tear into the inside of this case now. On top here, right away, first thing, instructions, manuals, emergency first aid, what to do. Let's see, first aid manual. Now, of course, these don't supplement a lot of the books that I've purchased over the years for emergency medicine. I have them again, you know. I myself, I am not going to perform surgery on someone, but it is nice to know how things work. It does have loads of other information for dosing for antibiotics, stuff like that, as well as a sheet here that has that. A lot of people talk about fish antibiotics. Well, you know, yeah, I store them for emergencies. I'm not going to recommend you do. I'm not going to recommend you don't. That's up to you. I store them for emergencies. You know, if I have a really bad infection and it's a life or death situation, I'd much rather take some fish penicillin than die, you know? And again, we're talking worst case scenario here. We're not talking where there's a dock in the box down the street that I can run to. So that's the situation. We also have potassium iodide. These are medication to block your thyroid in case of a radiological emergency, so you don't get thyroid cancer. I have them right on top. I live in an area, I mean, many of you are familiar with Nevada. There's lots of test bases and test ranges and bases and all sorts of nuclear material riding back and forth in government vehicles. If there's a spill somewhere, if there's an accident somewhere, I'm ready. In worst case disaster, you know, nuclear war, I'm also prepared. These will not help you from getting radiation sickness. You know, they will not prevent that. They will only prevent you, you know, from it being taken up in your thyroid. So that's something to think about, you know. That's a whole nother video when we get to nuclear, biological, and chemical. Basic Telfa pads, some patches for back pain. And I broke this down into quick kind of sections. We have first off the bat, all sorts of Band-Aids, dental, all sorts of dental stuff, and don't neglect to store dental stuff. I've had A couple of years ago, I had a wisdom tooth that went bad on me. And it actually had come in sideways. And I didn't even know about it because it had come in sideways instead of straight up like a regular tooth. It came in this way. And it was shoving all my other teeth forward. The pain was unbelievable. You could not think of anything but how much it hurt. Because there was a cavity underneath the sideways tooth here. So yeah, I went to the dentist. I had it taken care of. But, having stuff like this, if you're in the middle of a really bad situation, you want some kind of something to numb that pain. I always tell people, if you see these little jars here, I'm going to actually take this out. I've got this stuff here. This is eugenol or clove oil. I love the smell of it. My dad was a dentist, and I love the smell of it because it reminds me of the smell of my dad's office. If you see these, buy them. The taste of this stuff is gross. It is nasty, but let me tell you, it numbs your whole mouth out. This stuff is great to have for dental emergencies. Again, more bigger pads, more bigger bandages. And down in here, all sorts of stuff. I'm going to tilt this to the camera so you can see. Everything from snake bite kit to more ThyroBlock tablets, all sorts of medication, allergy relief, my wife's headache pills, cold packs, Bengay, there's the snake bite kit, suppositories, everything. Even a couple of things, eye drops in there. So I've kind of thought this over for a very long time. And what I'll do is annually, I used to do it on the 1st, January 1st, because it was a good time. It's usually a dead day, there's nothing going on. And I tear it apart and inventory it. But I just did this about a month ago. Actually, no, 2 weeks ago. And I went through and took out all the old stuff, rotated into our daily use, and put the new stuff in. Now, if something's expired, over-the-counter meds like aspirin, if it says best by December 2015, yeah, I'm going to keep it in there for another year. Aspirin and that stuff, this isn't a controlled environment. This stuff isn't going to go bad. But if something's maybe 4 or 5 years past its expiration date, I'm going to toss it, use it up, and get new. Now, what would I use this for? This would be something I'd grab when I'm running out of my house in either a really bad emergency, a bad accident. I'm a member of CERT. Maybe I'd bring this with me in the vehicle. And if you don't know, CERT is Community Emergency Response Team. Basically, you are a unofficial, unpaid first responder, and you can help out during disasters. And they give you some basic, they give you a backpack with a bunch of basic tools, which you look at and go, I got better than this, I got better than that, and you replace it all. But, having something like this, even for yourself, if you're out there searching in rubble after an earthquake, if you live in California, an earthquake zone, and you cut your leg bad, or you cut your arm bad, or you have a bad fall, something like this can really save your butt. So anyway, that's my thought on first aid kits. Now, of course, I have tons more first aid and medicine stored. Actually, I have 2 huge Rubbermaid tubs full of stuff that I go through once a year and rotate. But this is more of a bug out, kind of everyday use first aid kit. And I find that a toolbox works really good for this. And the bigger the better. I thought that when I first got this, I had hardly anything in it. I bought this in '99. And it was so big, I had tons of room in it. And it's kind of like the gun safe thing, buy a bigger gun safe than you think you need because you're always going to need more room. Same thing with this. I'm actually thinking of changing it out to a bigger or deeper, not bigger this way, but deeper pack, because now when I put this on top, I kind of have to squeeze to get everything in there. Anyway, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, again, I'm not a physician, I'm not a nurse or anything like that. A great suggestion for people like that is like videos from Patriot Nurse, from Skinny Medic. They can give you the real nuts and bolts on medical issues. I can't do that. This is really first aid for me, and with the help of what I've read, maybe I can save my life or somebody else's. But I'm not setting out to do that. This is more for my own personal use. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like the videos. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. And we will talk to you soon.